I started my career here at the Andy Warhol Museum back in 1997, so I'm really glad to return. I'm able to join a team that is just so passionate but ready for the next chapter and something really exciting. Hello, I'm Mario Rossero. I'm the director of the Andy Warhol Museum. I studied art education locally at Washington Jefferson College. And when I graduated, I was looking for a teaching gig. And I wrote all these individual cover letters to different institutions. And I wrote one to the Warhol. I was hired at that time. I spent about 7 years working at the museum, giving tours, running the weekend factory, doing community outreach. And at the same time, I started teaching in Shaler area school district. So it was nice to have that Warhol and school district balance for the first part of my career. And so I was looking for a grad school, and I found this great program at Bank Street School of Education in New York that partnered with Parsons School of Design, and it prepared me for supervision and administration in the arts. So that was critical because it helped on my trajectory from art educator to starting to become that arts leader. So after 3 years of that program and wrapping up in Pittsburgh, I took the leap and moved to Chicago. I taught in the south side of Chicago at Harold Washington Elementary. It was a great experience. I had 800 students. During my time in Chicago Public Schools, I had worked my way up through the system, and I had so many different roles in the arts and also across multiple disciplines that I learned how the bureaucracy in the system worked. And when I sort of paired my internal knowledge of the system with this community input and listening tour, we created this beautiful strategy that said, this school has this gap, let's match you with a partner or a funder that can help you fill that gap. And for those that were already investing in the arts, we could take those best practices and share them across the district. That kind of strategy, community engagement piece has really continued through all my roles since then. One of the last things I did at the National Art Education Association was to really bolster our advocacy work. And I realized that, at least on a federal scale, you can't really do that work alone. And that I had sister organizations in music and dance and theater and media arts who were also trying to achieve the same goals. We coalesced an alliance that brought all the art forms together with a single voice to fight for the thing that we're trying to achieve, which is more arts for more kids. And those sort of orchestrations of how you work with a body of people or with a community, I think are so essential because we're here to serve a group of stakeholders. All those lessons I have from my history, my past, bring me to a place where I know how to uphold and uplift that community voice and to really honor it. But I also understand from an educator perspective, really how to design experiences that are successful for our public and for our stakeholders, for our community. A big part of my success in arts education has been, I guess it's a recipe of a few things. So I'm a little bit of a risk taker, but I trust myself to have the tools to land on my feet. So I can take a little bolder risk, but I've also learned to pair that risk with strategy. So I really spend a lot of time listening, asking questions. I'm going to spend a lot of time with the local Pittsburgh community as well as the broader arts community, really understand from our history and legacy of the Warhol, where are we now and where do we want to go to, but also where does the community need us to go? And I think at the Warhol, as we think about, we have our local community, which is unique. We're also, bringing in so many national and international visitors that you have to really think about, are we positioning the Warhol story in a way that connects with as many people as possible? You might love that he was like a doting son that lived with his mom and went to church all the time. You might love his factory work with eclectic ensemble of folks that were fashionable and exciting. There's so many things. He dabbled in music, he dabbled in magazines, production, but he was always an artist at heart. So I think there's always a way to connect to Warhol. And so I really feel like my experiences prepared me to help everyone find their own Warhol.